Good morning. I read a book once entitled, If There's One Thing I've Learned. And it was a group of short stories from different people about what they learned in life. One of them was from a man named Kevin. He was 37 years old. He was working in the World Trade Tower number 2 building. He was on the 80th floor on that morning of September the 11th. And he said he was working when suddenly they saw some debris coming out of Trade Tower 1. They all ran to the window to look, but nobody panicked. It didn't seem like they were really in any danger. They just couldn't figure it out. It looked so strange. And then the speaker came on and said, everybody needs to evacuate. When they said that, everybody ran for the center stairwell there in the middle of the building, a fire escape. And they were going down the stairs, and it was very orderly until about the 46th floor. And at the 46th floor, it really backed up and came to a stop. And now people started to panic. People were really getting very antsy when the speaker came on again and said, it's all clear. You do not have to go and evacuate. If you want to stop at the 44th floor, there's the cafeteria there. You can rest and then either walk or take the elevator back. He said they got to the 44th floor. It was still just chaos with so many people. He didn't want to rest. He needed to get back to work. And so he immediately tried to get on the elevator. But there were so many people pushing and shoving. Finally, the elevator was there and the doors closed and he did not get on the elevator. He had to wait. And he said it seemed like it took forever for it to go all the way back up and all the way back down with all the different people there on all these different floors. When it finally came back and the doors opened, he was the first one in. And now he's the back and everybody is pushing in. And finally it was the maximum they could get in. A man stepped in and the door started to close and it hit his backpack. Hitting his backpack, the door would not close. It opened back up, and then it came and hit his backpack again. He was in the elevator, but the doors couldn't close because of the backpack. And finally, Kevin was hollering, come on, buddy, get real, figure this out. He was angry. And while he was hollering at this young man with his backpack, the second plane hit tower number 2. And in the end, everything began to shake. Debris began to fall. Everyone fell down. People fell out of the elevator on top of one another trying to hang on. Everyone was scrambling now for their lives. It turned out that the plane had hit floor number 81. Had he been able to get back in time, had he caught the first elevator, he would have been back at his desk and he would have been killed instantly. He was now running for his life down the stairs. Everybody was trying to get out, and he and his buddies finally got out of the trade tower, and they started running. He didn't stop running until he got to Chinatown, and there they finally stopped and turned around to try to catch their breath, and they saw the tower come down. Had he gotten on that first elevator, he would have been there. Had he gotten on that second elevator, and where people got on quickly and the doors had shut, they would have almost been back to their floor, and certainly would have died. He got to the train station. It was all chaotic. The train ride home usually took an hour. That day it took 3. When he got to the parking lot again, there were so many cars and everyone was frantic. And it took a couple more hours before he could ever get through all that traffic and get home. When he finally arrived at home so late that evening, standing outside was his wife and his 2 children. He just looked at them. And I want to read you what he had to say. People have asked me how I changed or what did I learn from the experience. And what I learned was really I'd gotten into the habit of living a life where I was angry more than I was happy. I'd gotten to the point where I was always irritable, cranky, angry. When I looked at my children, I always saw the things that they were doing that I didn't want them to do. When I looked at my wife, I always saw the mistakes she was making or the things that I didn't think were right. When I drove on the freeway or somebody cut me off, I'd honk my horn, wave my fist. I'd give them a sign with my hand that expressed clearly how I felt about them. I was angry far more than I was happy. I don't know how I got into that, but it just kind of happens as you go through life. I got to asking myself, if I had died today, how would people have remembered me? And I realized that people would have remembered me as an angry young man. And that's not how I wanted to be remembered. I started trying each day to look for things differently. I try to look at my children and see the things that I admire and the things that I like. I look at my wife and I see all the things that she does so well. When people cut me off on the freeway, I try to just chill out. I don't mean to be telling you I'm perfect, and I find myself sliding back, and I remember that day. I remember the day, and I try to do things differently. More than anything, I pray that God will let me live long enough that when I die, people remember me as the man who loved life, was kind to people, and who lived his dreams. If you died today, how would people remember you? Jesus said, "By this all people will know that you're my disciples, if you have love for one another." To be remembered as his disciple, because the people that we love. I hope today you'll go out, love your neighbor, no exception.